us this morning to discuss the sad closure of a magazine and other travesties that have occurred since the legislation, the same-sex marriage legislation. Delighted to have with us. He is now the Senate candidate for Queensland at the next election, formerly head of the Australian Christian Lobby. Lyle Shelton, how are you, mate?
Very well, thanks, Rowan.
Morning, Lyle. Good to see you with
Piers.
And okay, Lyle. So we read on yesterday that White magazine. Now, White magazine was a bridal magazine with photographs about weddings. Have been going for 12 years. The couple who set up the magazine have now closed it, and they're claiming that they've been harassed, threats of their home being bombed, and so on. Talk us through this sad story.
Well, Rowan and Piers, as you said in the intro, and as we and others said during the campaign that ran over many years to de-gender marriage, to change its definition, that there would be consequences. The law is a teacher. It's not just there as a big stick. And what it does is it enables then behaviour and attitudes in society. And what it's clearly done is made it open season on anyone who doesn't now bow or genuflect to the rainbow view of the world. And these people at White magazine, they were non-combatants in the campaign. They deliberately stayed out of it. They said, look, this is not a loving discussion. We don't even want to take a position. But with their magazine, it was just an editorial policy that they would only photograph heterosexual weddings. What's wrong with that? But of course, in this brave new world, everything's wrong with it, and you will be demonised, you'll be called a bigot, your advertisers will be hounded, and they've been driven to an economic position where it's no longer viable. And this is just the canary in the coal mine and the tip of the iceberg.
So, Lyle, how sweeping do you see this penalisation of people who have a genuinely held religious belief? And do you see it in getting into the school situation as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Piers. And this is the brave new world that we're in. Less than 12 months on from redefining marriage. And, I have to say that I think, the majority of Australians, they bought the line of the Yes campaigners, that there would be no consequences. We were told that over and over again when people like yourselves, people like me, the Coalition for Marriage said there would be consequences. We were told that was red herrings, that was furphies, that this was just about the love of two people. But less than 12 months on, the Coalition government is still dithering over the Ruddock report into freedoms. So remember, Malcolm Turnbull commissioned that when he famously said that he believes in freedom more than he believes in same-sex marriage, and yet they've just kicked this thing down the road. And now Christian schools are in a position, thanks to fake news reporting by Fairfax, that they somehow want to have the power to expel gays, gay students and teachers, when really that they need legal protection to be able to maintain communities which allow parents to have their children educated in the environment of their faith and morals. And guess what? That faith and morals is different to the agenda that's carried under the rainbow flag. Now, in a fair-go country where there's tolerance and diversity, parents should be free to have their children educated in their beliefs about what they believe marriage is, not what the Rainbow Brigade believe marriage is. Yes. And that is very much under threat right now as a result of the dithering of the Coalition.
Well, Lyle, it seems to be singularly obvious that the homosexual lobby is targeting the Christians, but not the Islamic schools, which are very strongly opposed to the whole notion as well. But, of course, homosexual marriage, as Malcolm Turnbull boasts, was one of his signature policies, the other being his and Lucy's ban on bonking at Parliament House. I mean, you have to really wonder what, signal achievements any Prime Minister can boast when these are the legacy of the Turnbull government.
Well, he's created a situation in Australia now where dangerous identity politics has been weaponised. And it's not just Christians. Christians are the canary in the coal mine here. We're the low-hanging fruit for this political movement. But remember, there were 4.9 million Australians who said no to redefining marriage. And I think there would have been a lot more who would have said no had they known that what they were being told during the campaign about no impacts on anyone else's freedom, if they'd have known that to be the lie that it is, they wouldn't have voted that way. I think there's a lot of buyer's remorse in Australia. And the legacy Malcolm Turnbull has left now is one of Australia no longer being the country of the fair go, of live and let live, of tolerance and diversity, but one now where people who have a different view to the rainbow agenda can be hauled before tribunals, commissions and punished simply because they believe that marriage is between one man and one woman. They want to say that publicly. They want to live that out in various community groups, be they Christian, Muslim or secular.
Lyle, I'll bring to your attention, you're probably aware of it, another case, which is even, to my mind, even more sinister than that of the Burrells. A wedding photographer by the name of Jason Tay was taken to the West Australian Equal Opportunity Commission after he agreed to photograph the children of a same-sex couple, but he disclosed that he had a conflict of belief in case they felt more comfortable choosing a different photographer. They then took him to court, and at the conciliation hearing, charming individuals, by the way, at the conciliation hearing, it was demanded. Now, here we get into almost, you know, Orwellian, sinister stuff. It was demanded that Mr. Tay provide an admission of discrimination. I mean, this is Eastern Germany stuff. This is China under Mao Zedong. An admission of discrimination as well as a written apology to be published publicly. May as well stuck him in the stocks and paraded him up and down George Street in Perth there, on the homepage of his website and all social media pages associated with his photography business for at least 2 months. Mr. Tay said, "I don't believe that I have discriminated in any way, neither offered unfavourable treatment. I merely stated that I had a contrary view due to my faith." This is sick, eh?
Well, Rowan, I can't put it any better than that. What I can tell you is that there are people of faith and no faith who hold a view about marriage that has been based on the millennia's understanding of it, that are living in fear in this nation now because of the sort of treatment that these people are getting. People are afraid to voice an opinion that runs counter to that which is carried under the rainbow flag, which has become a flag of oppression. It's not a flag of liberation or tolerance. And it's profoundly disappointing that a coalition government does not have the strength or the will or the courage or the resolve to be able to ensure that what was promised to Australians in the marriage campaign, that no one else's freedoms would be affected, that is actually given effect in a post-same-sex marriage world. They are dithering on the Ruddock Review. They have capitulated essentially to the rainbow political movement, and now Australia is a less free place. And it's not just... If people think this is just going to stop at Christians, think again. 4.9 million Australians voted no. Many more regret it. They are not all Christians. And until every last Australian bows to this agenda, and particularly to its sinister agenda that follows, to teach children that their gender is fluid, no one will have any peace until that is enshrined in every public and private school in the country.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Lyle Shelton. Thanks for talking to us this morning. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Good to see you on Outsiders, and good luck at the election.
Thanks, Rowan. Thanks, Piers.
Cheers.